What's up, everybody? Welcome to System Crafters Live. I don't know what just happened there on my screen. I'm David Wilson, and we're back with another Friday stream where we get together as a community and talk about whatever topic I've come up with for the week. And this week is no exception. And I gotta fix the reason why my head is so low in the camera. Hold on. All right, that should be better, I think. Just to make sure I'm not eating the mode line the whole time. So I'd like to say hello to the folks who are here so far. I'm seeing the live feed here, and it's pretty funny. Hello to Syncracti, Minas Mazar, Gun, Eric, Shubash, Fab, Case, Datamanoid, and yes. Jeez, look, I gotta fix my setup here. Things keep getting moved around. Like, whenever someone cleans in here, they slightly shift around my equipment, and it's kind of a problem. Hello to Jeff, Daigo, Tanumag, Amalvedia, Michael, Strix. Thanks, folks, for being here today. Appreciate it. So, yeah, let's get to it. First of all, updates. So, a few different things today. First of all, maybe you don't care, but I just wanted to tell you that I've updated my personal Emacs configuration to actually remove straight.el and setup.el, which both of which I put in my config probably like over a year ago. Straight, definitely a longer time ago, and then setup.el probably a year ago. And it was fun for a while, but since Emacs 29 is going to have use package built in, and it's also going to have the new package VC install functionality that allows you to pull a package using package.el from a Git repository. That basically just removes, what I was basically using straight for. It's like pulling some repositories from some packages from Git repositories. And setup.el is really cool, but I don't know, like, if use package is built in and it does all the things I want it to do, then it makes sense to just use what's in the box. So I think I'll go into detail a little bit more on strategies for using use package and package.el effectively in another video. I've done a couple of videos related to use package, I think. Maybe one. But anyway, I want to go more in depth on use package because it does so many different things, and it's such a good tool for organizing your configuration and also making it start up fast that I think we need some more information out there about that, or at least on this channel. Also, I'd like to point out that Jeff Bowman has been working hard on Crafted Emacs v2. So, we've learned a few things from how the project's been going so far, how people have been using it, and we've got some new ideas on how we want to organize the configuration. We're going to discuss it next Friday because we just sort of need to polish up a couple things first. But until then, if you want to check it out, you just give it a try and sort of read the documentation and give your feedback. That's the most important thing. Just give your feedback if you give it a shot. Go to the Crafted Emacs repo, and it's actually this Crafted V2 Alpha branch. So give that a shot and let us know what you think. Otherwise, you can just wait until next Friday, and we'll show it off there, and then maybe we'll start maybe releasing a beta at some point so that people can try that out and see if it's any better. If you've used Crafted Emacs in the past and you stopped using it for some reason, definitely give us a feedback on that just so that we know sort of what gaps there are maybe in terms of the configuration, or maybe it was just kind of painful to use for some reason. Anything that you have in mind, and then we can use all that feedback to make the project better. So I really appreciate any feedback on that. I'm sure that Jeff would too. Let me check my, okay, cool. Let's see. Also, just a reminder to support the channel if you enjoy what we do here. The one way to do that is to buy me a coffee at this Ko-fi or coffee website, ko-fi.com/systemcrafters. I actually have a little thing up here on the screen that whenever someone gives a donation, it does a little thing, whatever. It's kind of silly, but it's there. Also, I haven't mentioned it in a while, but I want to start mentioning it again. If you want to learn more about Emacs, more deep concepts about Emacs and different usage patterns that you might not know about, definitely check out the book Mastering Emacs by Mickey Peterson. Mickey was so kind to set up this link, affiliate link basically, for the System Crafters channel, where if you go purchase a copy of Mastering Emacs, a portion of the sale goes to support the channel. So it's a really cool way to learn more about Emacs. And Gun is correcting my time. Hold on a second. Learn more about Emacs and also support the channel at the same time. So definitely appreciate that. Oh, the other thing I want to mention is at that ko-fi.com/systemcrafters, there's a way to follow the page there for updates. I'm planning to do some more updates there sometime soon about some book projects I have in progress. So if you're interested in books about setting up a modern desktop environment with Sway, or maybe productivity with org mode, I've got a couple different ideas that I'm working on right now that I'm not exactly sure which one is going to win out in the short term. But I'm definitely going to talk about sort of like workflow and productivity with org mode. And also another book that's basically like Emacs from scratch, but a lot more in depth, and is sort of explaining how to go bottom to top and learn a lot about Emacs in the process. So definitely want to have people aware of those whenever they start going live. And also I'll be doing like an early access program on those things as well. So if you're interested, please follow there. Gunn says that I said 4 p.m. UTC on Mastodon. However, it's currently 3 p.m. UTC. Is it really? Is that what's happening with UTC right now? Let's see, current time UTC. Okay, it is 3. All right, fine. Once again, I've been proven as not knowing how time zones work. That's okay. Thanks, Gunn, appreciate it. I think that's it for the updates, or at least these set of updates. One question in the chat, Mark asks, are you still using eglot, or did you switch back to LSP? I'm still using eglot, and I intend to keep using eglot, mainly because it works well enough for me for everything that I need to do. It's more minimal. It's built into Emacs in Emacs 29. So there's a lot of reasons why it's kind of a good option. So I do have one problem with it currently, though. Whenever you use Doom Modeline, or the currently released version of Doom Modeline plus eglot, and also Emacs 29, which has a newer version of eglot, there's an error that shows up where this eglot -- spinner function doesn't exist. That's kind of an annoying little thing I've had to deal with lately. But just to let you know that maybe you should update your Doom Modeline. Zulu time. Yeah, I haven't heard of that in a while. Yes, I know. I need to figure out my time zone situation. Okay, that's it. So the next thing I actually want to bring up today is kind of a bigger topic. I've been mulling over for a while about what I wanted to do about the chat for the System Crafters community. We started off on Discord a couple years ago, back when I first started the channel, and it worked pretty well for a while. Quite a lot of people joined. I mean, we've had over 2,000 people, or 2,000 accounts, I suppose, join the Discord over that period of time. And there's still a number of people actively using it every day. I don't really go there as much anymore, and I'll explain sort of what the reasoning is. But I suppose my reluctance to stick with Discord is for a number of different reasons. Number one, it requires that you run kind of a thick Electron application to interact with people in the community, and I felt like that was just a little bit too much overhead. Even though Discord is a very nice app, and there's a lot of people using it already, which makes it easier for certain people to join, I still feel like that's not enough for what I would like my community to, or our community to, be able to use as a central hub for communication. Also, it's a proprietary application. It doesn't use open protocols. You can't really access it via an API. It's not really craftable. It's not open for you to do what you want to do with it. So I've been thinking for a while about alternatives for where we could call home. The main alternatives have been IRC, Matrix, XMPP, and potentially other things like Zulip or Rocket Chat, which are, I think, more or less open source chat protocols, but they're not as easy to access from Emacs. The first three, IRC, Matrix, and XMPP, are easier to access from Emacs because there's a Jabber client for XMPP, there's ement.el for Matrix, and then there's like a number of IRC clients built into Emacs for IRC. So I've been thinking a lot about what to do about this, and I think I've finally come to the conclusion that the combination of Matrix plus IRC is probably the way to go, mainly because the public Matrix instance, the main Matrix instance that anybody can join right now, is free to use. You can create channels on it, and there's already an IRC bridge set up to Libra Chat where we have the System Crafters IRC chat room. So there's people currently who are using the System Crafters chat room on IRC via Matrix and IRC. So we have a bridge, we have a way for people to communicate, and via IRC or via Matrix, you can use Emacs as your client for communicating in the chat. So I feel pretty confident now that Matrix is the way to go. It's not the perfect option, but it's the best option out of everything. So what I want to know from those of you who have been using the Discord over the years, maybe those of you who are still using it, what were the things you liked the most? Like, let's see, from the System Crafters Discord, what were your favorite channels? What should we replicate? Because there's certain topics we were talking about there, and I want to be able to have the ability to talk about similar things on Matrix, and there's a way for us to organize all the System Crafters related chat rooms so that they're available on Matrix, and even maybe have them bridged across to IRC. Maybe some of them, maybe all of them. I don't really know exactly how we'll do that yet. But I would like to know what channels people would like to see. There's also the aspect that there are official, well, let's just say quote unquote official channels for Emacs and Geeks on Matrix. So should we have SC versions of those channels? Maybe not. So because there's already a Geeks channel that's a bridge to the Libra Chat Geeks channel, the official Geeks channel, there's an Emacs Matrix room, but it's not bridged to the IRC, I think. There may be another one that's bridged, but there's one that I know that Alpha Papa hangs out in, and a lot of other people hang out in. So I don't know if that's really official or if it's not unofficial, but there are already existing places to talk about Emacs and Geeks on Matrix and IRC. So I'm kind of wondering whether it makes sense to have System Crafters versions of those channels as well, or if maybe we should just allow that to be, those channels to be the place where people go to talk about Emacs and Geeks, and then maybe have the System Crafters related channels be more specific to things like, you know, crafted Emacs or sort of broader concepts or broader topics that are relevant to the channel. I don't know. Just some way for us to have sort of siloed places to talk about certain topics, but not duplicate the places to talk about the topics that are already being discussed, where there's way more people involved, and you can maybe, if you're asking questions to get help, you can get help from a broader pool of people, right? So let's see. Let me see what people are saying in the chat. Minas Mazer says, long live IRC, back to basics. Yeah, IRC is nice. Michael says, IRC, please. Fellow worker John says, I use Cersei for IRC. That's great. Data Monoid says, does Ement edit the edited messages or sends a new message with edit? I don't know the answer to that. Let's see. Just created an element space where you keep all the craft rooms. I am going to create a space. I actually have one already. I just need to set it up a little bit better. Case says XMPP is good too. Actually, Case is a good case study about the fact that it is possible, if you have an XMPP server, there is this program called Biboomi. Let me write that for you. XMPP can bridge to IRC via Biboomi. So it actually allows us to use all three if you want, because if you have an XMPP server and you install Biboomi, or if someone has one that you can use, then you can bridge that to IRC, which means that there's three different protocols you could use to access the same chat rooms effectively for the System Crafters community. So I think that gives a lot of flexibility, which is kind of nice. So that's probably the right way to go, I think. I've tried a couple times setting up my own XMPP server, and the thing that I don't like about it is that you have to do a lot of configuration to set up modern type of functionality like emojis, or I guess reaction emojis, file uploads, message history, markers where you've read existing messages. And, I would have to be maintaining my own server. So if we use the public Matrix instance, the main Matrix instance, then we don't have to worry about that problem. So I don't know. I think that it's the best of all worlds. You can use whichever version of it you want, and everybody can be hanging out all there together. Yele says, hello, Yele. I missed the first minutes. What's the IRC going to be? We're already in Libra chat at the hash System Crafters channel. We've been there for a while. But we're probably going to add a few more channels there and bridge it over to Matrix and potentially to XMPP as well. Toasted Bacon says, I really want to use IRC, but I don't like it exposing my IP address. Well, there's a solution for that. Libra Chat has this concept of cloaks, where if you join Libra Chat, you can easily get a cloak where it obscures your IP address so that people can't see it. So that is a possibility. If you want to use the IRC side of things, you don't have to worry about people getting your IP address. Hey, Chris. If you haven't seen Chris Myrana's YouTube channel, he's made a lot of videos about Emacs as well. Drew says, if you make it, that doesn't mean people have to use it. They just do so because it provides some extra benefit. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, and Case says most networks let you mask your IP. Minos Major says, I think Matrix support threads. Do you know if it's bridged to IRC? Yeah, there is some stuff that doesn't bridge so well to IRC from Matrix. And especially if you're using an XMPP bridge to IRC and you're seeing things from Matrix go through that, Case can tell you all about that. But yeah, we might have to come up with some, what would you call it? Best practices for using Matrix in a way that doesn't disrupt the experience for people who are using other protocols. So that's just something we'll have to learn over time. But I want this to be a collaborative effort to define what the new space is for everyone. So anybody who has feedback, please let me know, and we'll try to improve things as we go. All right. I'll put this in the show notes too. Let's see. IRC cloaks on Libra chat. Okay. All right. So that's it. If anybody has feedback on that, please let me know in the comments of the video, the stream afterwards, or feel free to send me an email, david@systemcrafters.net, or find me on Matrix or IRC at the usual places. More info on how to connect to IRC Matrix. You can find that at http://systemcrafters.chat. Let me see if that actually works, because the last time we tried it, I think the SSL cert was busted. Okay, it seems to be fine. So there's actually details here on how to connect to the IRC channel through Matrix, so you can go check that out there. Hey, Craig, nice to see you. You're definitely not late. It's only been about 20 minutes. We haven't even gotten to the content yet. Sean says, I want to set up LaTeX in Emacs. Please tell me how to do it. I don't really know, to be honest, because I don't really use LaTeX, but someone else might be able to tell you. Okay, let's get on to the real topic for today. So what I would like to do is talk about some alternative packages for modal editing in Emacs. The Emacs from Scratch series that I did long ago sort of showed you how to use evil mode, which is the reigning, king is probably the wrong word, the reigning demon. I don't know, the front runner in terms of modal editing packages in Emacs. And it's great. If you want a more Vim-like editing experience in Emacs, evil mode is perfect for that. It's very flexible, does a lot of stuff, it's really good. But if you use evil mode for a while in Emacs, you realize that it's kind of a headache to configure all the different packages that you use such that you don't have issues with key bindings in them. Because the evil style key bindings are very different than the built-in Emacs key bindings. So you have to have another package like Evil Collection that can help you to set evil style key bindings in a variety of different packages. And there will always be just, little hiccups here and there with how your key bindings interrelate in these packages. I've wanted for a long time to start getting more familiar again with the built-in Emacs key bindings because I don't really use them that much. I don't think they're great, but I think it's better for if you're the type of person that likes to experiment with Emacs configurations and maybe you don't want to use Evil, or maybe you just want to learn how to use normal Emacs editing patterns, dropping Evil for a while can be useful. But there is something about modal editing. I mean, I think that modal editing makes sense in some cases. So what I would like to find through the course of experimenting with these various packages is whether there's a good middle ground where you can still use the vanilla Emacs key bindings comfortably and maybe even primarily, but also have the benefits of modal editing where it makes sense. So we're going to try a couple different things here to see how it goes. And then I would definitely like to hear people's thoughts and feedback based on what you've tried as well. Let me see what people are saying in the chat. Jeff says Meta X LaTeX mode. Okay. Might be good. John says, just want to shout out, thanks for your Emacs from Scratch series. Yes, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Emmanuel, nice to see you. I did see your email, but I just haven't had a chance to respond yet. I'll get back to you. Let's see. Gun says, the latest MU4E broke evil mode for MU4E. Well, that's unfortunate. That shows that I haven't used MU4E in a few weeks. Azir says, Meow user here. Yeah, Meow's kind of interesting, actually. We're going to check that one out a little bit later because the other two may not be as good. We'll see. Fellow worker John says, I think I know the evil define key function better than almost anything else because I need it all the time. Yeah. Okay, so Kapusin says, Zafly keys, or how does he, Xa? Is it Xafly keys? Is modal editing too? Yeah, let's take a look at that too. We may not have time to try it, but we should take a look at it. I can't believe it says, if you don't use MU4E, what do you use for email? Well, ideally, I use MU4E, but a lot of times I'm just opening up the web portal for Fastmail, which is my mail provider. I highly recommend Fastmail. Minas Mazer says, I'm a loyal defender of God mode. It does not collide with anything, just plain Emacs key bindings. It is interesting for that reason, that's for sure. Hello, Joseph. Joseph says, I've tried a few of them. I really want to switch away from Evil because I 100% feel the headaches you described. However, switching would require figuring out Emacs counterparts to Vim stuff. Yes, but I think it's good. And I'm kind of on board with it. I also want to actually propose Avi as a possibility here as well. So the one thing that scares me, actually, it sounds weird to say it, that scares me, but I've gotten so used to the evil key bindings in the Magit status package, or Magit package, the status buffer for that. Like if I were to actually go there right now, the way that I use Magit, the key bindings are way different between the vanilla Emacs key bindings and the evil key bindings that come with Evil Collection. I think it's Evil Collection. So I would have to basically relearn how to use Magit, which is a little bit annoying because Magit is like central part of my workflow and I'm kind of a ninja with it with the existing key bindings. So if I change things, then it's going to give me a real headache, I think. All right. Okay, so if it's similar to Kakune and Helix, that's kind of interesting. We're talking about Meow here. All right, so let's get into it. First of all, God mode. So maybe this is a response to the name Evil mode. Now we're going to talk about God mode instead. Let's get religious here. So let's see. This is a global minor mode for entering Emacs commands without modifier keys. It's similar to Vim's separation of command mode and insert mode. All existing key bindings will work in God mode. It's only there to reduce your use of modifier keys, which does sound pretty good, actually. And I kind of consider God mode to be the possibly least intrusive form of something like modal editing, where if you just want to make your key presses a bit more efficient, then this could be pretty useful for you. So the example here basically shows how if you're used to hitting control with some letter or key bindings to do a lot of stuff like move around in buffers, like control P for like previous line. Let's go to control P. Yeah, so previous line, next line. Control K is like kill line, isn't it? What is it? Yeah. All right. So all of these things are just like, key bindings effectively. And this line here is the example of what it would look like with God mode. Instead of holding control, you just press P, K, N, and then apparently you press G for meta, and then the next key. So you don't have to hold down the modifier keys, which could be nice if you have issues with repetitive stress injuries or Emacs pinky, in other words. It could be a way to get rid of that. Guns says something also that's true, which is remapping caps lock to control may be a remedy. That definitely helped me out significantly. I don't have Emacs pinky at all because my pinky stays at the level of the home row because I'm using caps lock instead of the control below. So definitely worth doing that if you have issues with Emacs pinky. But God mode is another package that could give you a solution to that. Let's see. You'll find this mode surprisingly natural, as you would already know how to use your existing Emacs commands. So if you install God mode, you can load it up just by running God mode. And then you need a binding to activate the local mode. So it looks like they recommend binding it to escape, which is going to be real trouble for me. And that toggles it on. And there's also a God mode all, which toggles it on everything, but I don't think you would want that on all the time for everything, right? Let's see. Means that magic mode or deer mode, for example, will also enter God mode when you activate it in all buffers. You can always reliably use God mode commands in any buffer. But what I wonder is, how do you turn it back off? So let's give it a shot. I'm just kind of curious how this is going to work. Whoops. I'll turn evil mode back on for a second because I'm heavily dependent on it. So let's do this. I'll have to use straight for this, unfortunately. Straight use package. I don't have this config doesn't have my latest changes because I didn't want to sync them and break everything before the stream started. So God mode, let's see if that works. Cloning God mode. Okay. And then God mode. Okay, so God mode is now on. Oh, interesting. There's another little indicator that shows up down here for God mode in Doom mode line. So apparently it is aware of God mode. That's cool. Let's also, well, it tells us to use this key. Whoa. All right, this is going to be a problem for me. It tells us to use this key binding. Come on now. Wow. What is happening? All future buffers, however, activation of God mode itself is buffer local. Let's turn that off. Right? I think that this needs to be turned on conditionally unless there's a way to use it all the time. Minas Mazer says God local mode is a toggle. Define key God mode local map I to exit from God mode. Okay, that's kind of cool. Azer says shouldn't have evil and God mode on at the same time. Yes. I will turn it off as soon as I figure out how to use it correctly. Okay, so let's not do this by default. I think that God mode by default is a bad idea. I don't want to use escape though, because I hit escape way too much. Maybe I'll do it anyway. I think it's going to break evil though, so we'll see. We'll see. Local mode disabled in current buffer, enabled in current buffer. So in P, all right. In fact, let's turn on keycast tab bar mode so you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm pressing N and P to go next line, previous line. I press K here to kill region, apparently. On Okay, cool. I press slash and it does undo. That's actually kind of nice. If you want to stay really, really close to the built-in key bindings, but you don't want to have to hold control, then that could be a pretty good option. What about space? Ah, okay. Whoops, I keep hitting escape as usual. So apparently it just throws control in front of every key that you press, which is a little bit weird. But let me do what Minas Mazar said, which I think is a good suggestion, which is, wow. Which is to bind a key, define key, God, local mode map, keyboard I. And that is God local mode, right? So I'll eval that. I keep hitting escape. Like I told you, it just, I can't stop it. Okay, here we go. So now I'm gonna press escape to get into it. I can use N and P, then I press I to start typing. So it's kind of like I for insert in Vim, which is kind of cool. Control K is kill line. Joseph says, what happens when you do meta X or Control C? Well, if I press escape to go into God local mode and press C, then it's automatically Control C. And then I can press H. Oh, really? Interesting. And then there's, yeah. How about, here we go. Wow. GX. Okay, so meta X even works. So you can press GX for meta X, which is kind of nice. Then you could also do things like G. Oh, okay. G. Yeah, okay. Gotcha. Cool. So what do I want to do? GN. Thought there was a binding for meta N. Huh. Interesting. So shift. Control shift X. Okay. So let's see. What else does it tell us? God exempt major modes. Entering function keys will be translated to use appropriate key modifiers. So you can turn off function key translation. I don't really use function keys, but some people might. Key mapping. All right, so X is Control X, F is Control F, so it just adds control to everything. Space key to produce Control X, S. Oh, okay, so if you press X, then space, then S, right. So that gives you, maybe that's what I should have done. So then, how do I have embark set up? I thought it was, let's turn this off. So Control X, Control H. That's supposed to work. So for God mode, X, H. Interesting that it doesn't work. Anyway, that doesn't matter. X space T. X space X space T. Toggle truncate lines. Yep. So the question is it better? I suppose if you really don't want to be pressing down the control key with your pinky finger the whole time, then it could be pretty nice. The literal key space is sticky. It means you don't have to enter space repeatedly for key bindings such as Control X, RT. The literal key can be changed through God literal key. So, okay, so you just press space once. That's kind of nice, actually. So if you press X space XT, then that's actually better. Then what? G is used to indicate the meta modifier, which means that there's no way to enter Control G in God mode, and you must therefore type in Control G directly. Okay, the fact that you can just press Control G is kind of nice. So I guess the important thing to note here is that it doesn't mean you can't use Control X, Control F. You can still use Control X, Control F and everything the normal way, but you can also press XF and have the same thing. So that is pretty cool, actually. I mean, as a simple way to get a more streamlined set of key bindings, it could be pretty useful. One place where I can imagine this being really useful is if you're using Emacs on mobile. Having to press Control or Alt before pressing a letter on your virtual keyboard in Emacs, or your whatever you call it, your touch keyboard, is kind of a pain in the ass. So if you use God mode instead, then you can just press XF to open find file, and just like that with any other key binding that you would normally use. So it could be a lot easier for you to use Emacs inside of your phone. Like if you're using it with the official Android build that's new that you can find on F-Droid, or even using it inside of Termux like I was doing today. Let's see. Missing some messages here in the chat. Shabash says, Control W when mark is set is kill a region. Okay. Fellow worker John says, does Control now toggle the C prefix off? No, apparently it still works the same way, which is good, I think. And Joseph says, both Boon and Meow have similar dances to change meta and no binding. Okay, cool. All right. What else do they have to tell us here? Capital G is used to indicate both control and meta. That's cool. So capital GX. Oh, really? Control meta X? What about an Emacs list buffer? What if I go... Okay, let's do this the right way. XF /.files.emacs.d init.el. Yeah, okay, whatever. I'll go here and capital G. Hey, that's not what I wanted. Oh, evil mode is on. So let's first of all let's just turn evil mode off. God mode enabled. All right, so now, whoa, where am I? All right, so I'm gonna jump up right about here, and then I'll use capital GX. Okay, so it did work. Capital GX does eval defund, which is what you normally use, Control Alt X. That's kind of nice, to be honest. Pretty easy. So this section is pretty useful, actually. Digit arguments can also be used. So 12F turns into a prefix of 12 for the F. What about 12? What the hell was that? What just happened? Is that an overlay? What are we looking at? Did I add something into my configuration that is just popping up again? I think we were doing something with overlays last time. Or no, it was when we were using the AI stuff. Let's see. 1, 2. I don't know what's happening. Lispy. Okay, Lispy's doing that. Lispy mode. Let's go away for a second. Lispy mode. Turn off. All right, fine. I've never seen that before. All right, 1, 2, N. All right, so I was able to jump 12 lines down. That's cool. So 30N, 30P, 30P. All right, cool. It works. Moom says, how do you replace caps lock? It depends on it depends on a lot of things. It depends on whether you're using Windows, macOS, or Linux. And also in Linux, it depends on whether you're using Wayland or Xorg and what window manager you use, or if you use like Xmodmap or other things. If you want a reference for that, check out the Emacs from Scratch GitHub repo. I believe I have some information that other people have contributed to here that tells you how to do the rebinding on different systems. So you can find that here. I can throw that in the show notes just in case anybody else is interested. Wow, don't do that. Oh boy. Okay, so that's a pretty decent little configuration, I think, for God mode. Huh. Now I need to figure out the org key bindings for moving stuff around, but it might be actually easier to do that. So org move up. Oh, there's not actually org move heading. How do you move headings up? I only know how to do that via key bindings. Down. Org up. Up element? No. Move subtree up. Okay, that's not exactly what I had in mind. Here, let's do this the old-fashioned way. Hey. I just want to type stars, man. Space. No. I can't do space. Space. Okay. Let's turn off God mode for a second. Star star. See, this is quite an odyssey here. Control C, Control C. Yes, I need to leave God mode. That's right. Emmanuel says, how do you do visual selection though? That's a good question. How does mark work in this case? Now the problem is, okay, mark set. There you go. Just space. So you can hit space to do a mark if you're not in evil mode like I was. So I'm just here. I press space to mark. Whoa, that was self-insert. That's not what I expected because I keep hitting escape. Told you. Space, N, P, yeah. And then Control G to back out. So just hit space to set the mark and then move. Pretty good. I don't know. Kind of like it. Shabash says, speaking of termux, I don't see any of your termux configs for Emacs. I know you used to have them. Where can I find them? It's baked into my Emacs config. So if you go look at my .files repository in the Geeks home branch, even the main branch, there's termux configs there. There's really not much to my termux config, but my Emacs configuration has stuff in it for termux. So if you go check out, well, let's just see, modules, DW core, termux. Yeah, you can see right here. I'm actually checking if we're in termux by looking at uname-a, and then I check this DW is termux variable all over my config to disable certain things that I don't want to load in termux. Fellow worker John says, I think you need to set up a nice binding for toggling God mode. I mean, using escape for that is pretty nice so long as you aren't hopelessly addicted to just slamming escape all day like I am because of constant use of evil mode. Hitting escape repeatedly is kind of like a mental reset, and it's just something I do all the time. So it's very problematic when I have to do anything that changes the behavior of escape for me. Okay, anyway, God mode, I would say, is pretty nice. This package, whoa, I'm still in God mode. This package, single letters for many Emacs, many vanilla Emacs key bindings. Check the README of the repository for more information. Okay, next. Bon. Let me check, let's make sure I didn't miss anything in the God mode docs. Looking up a key sequence. Oh, it has its own describe key, which is kind of nice. Visual indicators in case you need that, which, you know, you probably might. And there's some mode line configurations. iSearch integration, useful key bindings. Yeah, there's some pretty solid suggestions here, I think. So if you want to try out God mode, definitely check out the README. It's pretty solid. I'm going to give that one a star. Okay, next, Boon. Boon I have not tried. I've heard things about it, but I haven't used it before. Where am I? Am I in God mode still? Let's turn off God mode so I don't end up going completely insane. Probably should have used a separate configuration for this. Also, we will unset. Can I do global unset key? Unset key globally. Escape. Did you do it? Great. Now let me go back in my actual configuration and put that back to keyboard escape quit. Hey, thank God. All right. All right, cool. Harmony says, I can't stick around today, but I wanted to drop in and say that I recently made the switch from evil to meow, and I have been really happy. You're like the third or fourth person who said that, so that's pretty encouraging, I think. Azer says, more like thank God mode. Well, we're not thanking God mode in that case because it almost drove me nuts. All right, so Boon, ergonomic command mode for Emacs. There's a lot of different packages in here, so I wonder what that's all about. Complete package for modal editing, which is not evil. Strong points, ergonomic. Common commands are easy to type. Emacs friendly. Emacs conventions are respected as much as compatible with design goals. It means that Boon integrates well with existing Emacs infrastructure and leverages it, which is nice. Existing user configurations can often be reused. Modular, no need to buy into the whole system. Mix and match the parts you want. It is largely accepted that modal editing is more ergonomic than using keyboards. Well, I'm sure there are some people that will fight you to the death over that statement, but I agree. I don't know. Spatial allocation first, mnemonics second. Say that 15 times fast. Mnemonics. Easy finger rolls. Common key combination should either be left-right hand alternation or easy one-hand rolls. All right, home row and strong fingers for the most used commands. I like that. I appreciate the use of home row. I don't really like N and P for going up and down and B and F for going back and forward. I feel like it's just like too far away from each other. And I don't know. Camelo says, hey, David, hey, chat. Been a while since I caught a stream, but always happy to follow along. Well, glad you're here. Joseph says, David, if you want more evil like Boon key bindings for QWERTY, take a look at my mappings. Definitely. And let's see. Moom says, you replace control with caps lock, so how do you activate caps lock functionality? Oh, okay. So if that's what you were asking before. So I don't use caps lock that often because I don't like to yell on the internet because that's really the only use for caps lock, in my opinion. I'm just kidding. I've remapped caps lock to the control on the right side of my keyboard. So if I really need to turn on caps lock, or if somehow caps lock accidentally gets turned on and I have to turn it off, I can press right control to toggle it, because I never press right control while doing normal typing. So that's one way to do that. Why no yelling? Because I don't want to argue with people, because they'll probably win. So there's no yelling for me. All right. So let's see. In command mode, I don't want to just like read this whole thing to you. Let me just see if we can find out how to get started using it. Okay, Emacs integration. Control C, Control X, Control C shortcuts. Any command is available to X, so that's very much like God mode. Drop the first control. XS will save all buffers. Control C shortcuts can now be typed simply as C, which means no special configuration is required. Emacs has several modes which have a modal interface. Boons leaves these modes alone, like Magit and Direb, which is pretty good. Only the X key is stolen by Boon. That does make sense. Let's see. Peter says, caps cut the reading speed by almost half. That could be true. That could be true. Gecko says, the thing that bothers me with things like Meow or Helix is the fact that Vi-like binds act as the universal keyboard interface. And sort of scares me away from trying them. Yes, it does sort of put you into a certain way of doing things, but you could say the same thing for just regular Emacs key bindings, I think, because it is its own way of thinking. Gunn says that Boon is a Belgian brewery making the special sour beers. Well, that sounds pretty nice. I could use one of those right about now. Blah, blah, blah. Lots of text. Just show me some examples. Let me just get into it, because I don't want to read all day. I want to try things. All right, so we can install Boon. There's a QWERTY layout. And if you use Colmac or potentially Workman layouts in your computer, there's layouts for that, apparently. But I don't really know as many people who use these two. I've heard things about them, but I'm not so adventurous to try them myself. So let's try Boon. Let's go down here. Drop another little EL block. Straight use package, boon. Let's see if that installs. Here we go. Case says, apparently macOS uses Emacs bindings. Yeah, you can use that in fields, in text fields, which is kind of interesting. All right, so let's first of all turn off evil mode, and then turn on boon mode. All right, so now boon mode is on. I noticed that the cursor changed to a block, which is kind of interesting. So boon mode is on. Oh, cool. They have a tutorial. I like that. Reading through the tutorial is highly recommended. So let's run that boon tutorial. All right. What did I just do? Wow, I'm editing this buffer. Why is the buffer not read-only? Yeah, I'm breaking everything here. Turn off evil mode. Let's go to the top. Okay. Turn on boon mode. I think you have to do that per... well, maybe not. Does not overwrite any familiar key binding combinations. Make sure that boon is active in this buffer. Call turn on boon mode. So it would be nice if it actually told you. Okay, so there's, once again, Doom mode line is able to see that. But if it told you like in the echo area if it's on or off. I'm pressing N and P and they don't seem to be. Oh, you know, I think they told me that that's. Sorry, keep rambling. Joseph says you have to pick a layout. Yes, that's right. Will the yeah, the tutorial did not tell me that. Let's kill the tutorial. Why is it not telling me that here? That should be the first thing. If you have to pick a layout, then they should. Oh, okay. It did tell me, but they're suggesting the less likely one first, which I think is interesting. Turn off boon. No, turn off. Let's turn that off. Everything's going really well, I have to say. Turn off evil mode. Let's just make everything stop controlling my keyboard. What the hell is happening? Holy crap. Can I type? Cool. Finally, I can type. That's great. Okay. That's probably the correct order. Now I've evaluated boon query correctly. And J and K, what is J and K doing? Wow, that's interesting. All right, let's go back to the tutorial now. Let's see. You have to pick a layout. Maybe you'll have to learn by doing like the Vim tutorial. Can't be read only then. Yeah. Yes, I think it might make me type in here. And Joseph says the boon key bindings are not like evil much at all. Yes, it seems to be the case. Okay. So we have boon on. Turn off evil mode. Can I just turn off evil mode like this? Oh, okay. Indicate directions for typing command. Type Control L and Control K to scroll this text. Okay, fine. Two states: command state, insert state. Switch from command state to insert state by typing boon set like insert state. Is this? I feel like something's wrong. Oh no, that's right. That looks like it's in insert state, and this little icon here tells me I'm in insert state. And then to go back to command state, you press escape, sort of like in evil mode. That's cool. All right. Basic cursor control. So this, I think this is supposed to actually be the real keys that are bound, and it's not showing it correctly. I don't know why. Might need to unload the package. How do I unload the package? Unload feature? Okay. Boon. So, hey, stop that. I think Boon is still on. Yeah, no, it's just totally broken now. There we go. Brilliant. I feel like we've done this before. Like, I think on a stream, I must have tried Boon at some point in the past and had a similar experience where it just didn't make any sense. Okay, here we are, finally. So, the characters for key movement in command mode are K, L, I, O. Previous line is I. Next line is O. Okay, so I and O go forward and backward. K goes to the left, L goes to right. That's not bad, but it's completely different than what I'm used to. Let's see. If moving by one character at a time is too slow, you can move by words. The semicolon key moves forward by a word, and the J moves backwards by a word, okay? So if I use a semicolon, I can jump across the different groupings here. That's kind of nice, I suppose, but it's not like a world changing experience. Data Monoid says you might like Meow better, judging by the experience so far. That's why I left it for later, because I felt like it would probably be a better solution. If you want to move up and down faster, use the Shift key. So Shift I, Shift O. Okay, fine. You can use number prefixes for the movement keys. That's also fine. All right, fine. Pops a mark from the marking and jumps to it. Okay. Y goes to definitions. I don't know, a lot of this, I'm not really sold, to be honest, based on what I'm seeing so far. Yes, it keeps all the movement in the right hand, and it has sort of a more or less sensible layout of the movement keys. But I'm so used to the Vim movement keys, H, J, K, L, that it's just, you know, not so much of an improvement. Emmanuel says, I and O, learning that is going to require some serious discipline. Yes, it would, for sure. All right. K says, no, you. I don't know what I said. Shabash says, think this is more for vanilla Emacs users as opposed to evil users. I don't think it's for either. I think this is for like people who have not been affected by Emacs or Vim. Joseph says, Boon feels way better if you map it to be Vim-like, but it does a great job of integrating with both built-in Emacs functionality while not being too intrusive. That is a benefit. That is something I'm actually looking for, to not be intrusive and to be useful whenever, or to be something that's useful when it's needed, basically. As of right now, God mode seems more useful to me than this, because there's a very clear usage pattern with God mode. With this, like, I have to like rethink everything that I want to do effectively. Control C prefix, mode specific commands often have the form Control C, C letter. So C, what, L? Okay, and then X, F. Huh? No. there's just so much information in here about stuff that it can do, and it doesn't really fill me with confidence that I would be able to learn and remember how to use this. That's not to say this is a bad tutorial. It's totally fine as far as the tutorial is concerned, but my brain sort of recoils at the idea of having to relearn everything from scratch. Joseph says, you can try that if you want to try out Vim style. I don't know if you're trying to send a leak, but YouTube just eats it every time, I think. Well, let's see. That was worth trying. But maybe it's worth trying Meow instead to get a little bit of a contrast and see if maybe that's better somehow. Because so far, I'm not really feeling this. And it's not really worth trying too hard, I think. So that's off, right? Now I want to remove feature. Wait, what was it? Unload feature, right? Hopefully that works. Yeah, links don't work. Oh, so there's J and K doing stuff. So Boon is still active somehow. I may have to quit out of this Emacs session. Yeah, let's just do that because I don't really want to get in trouble. All right, so all right, we're back in here now, and we've got Evo mode back on. So let's try Meow at this time. Okay, so yet another modal editing on Emacs. Is that is Meow a mnemonic for that? Minas Mazer says, I'm curious about other editing modes, but the standards are Vim and Emacs. Everything else require a lot of muscle memory. Yes. For Meow, you need to go to the keyboard QWERTY layout page. All right, let's just take a look at this and see what it says. Is yet another modal editing mode for Emacs. Aims to blend modal editing into Emacs with minimal interference with its original key bindings. Avoiding most of the hassle introduced by key binding conflicts. Okay. Minimal configuration. Build your own modal editing system. I kind of like the concept of that. No third-party dependencies. Doesn't occupy too many keys. Lightning fast, unlike Evil. Well, I haven't really had a problem with Evil, I guess. Minimizes modifier usage. So they use like Space XF, which is kind of like Space Max in a way. Maybe Doom is like that also. Better workflow for K macro application. I don't really use that. Selection as a top tier object, compatible with the vanilla Emacs key map. Effortless uniform key maps across modes, key binding conflict handling made easy. Okay. Tutorial, learn Meow in 15 minutes. Maybe that's the way to go. Cheat sheet. Oh, so the tutorial doesn't tell us to install it. But let's go to the Get Started page here, maybe. It's available on Melpa. That's cool. So let's go down here. We're in a new block, straight, use package, Meow. All right, that's in now. And it tells us to set up a command layout. No default command layout. You have to, you can write your own setup function or pick one from below. So define your Meow setup, then you require it. You can open the cheat sheet with space question mark. That's nice. So let's take a look at the. This is the example Meow setup function for QWERTY layout. Add it to your configuration before you call it Meow global mode. So you really do have to copy and paste this apparently. But that's interesting. You get to see it right there in your configuration, which is not bad. So we'll copy this over, drop it right there. Let me do a little bit of straightening up on this. So this is a function, meow setup, cheat sheet layout query, overwrite define keys. So it looks like next and previous are J and K, which is more evil style, which is cool. Digit arguments, define key, expand. All right, so there's a lot of stuff in here. We won't just look through this because maybe the tutorial will help us with that. So I'm going to eval that function. And then back here in the getting started, it told me to also do these other things. So first we create that function, and then we load up meow. And then we run this function that we defined, the meow setup, and then we say meow global mode. Let me turn off evil mode first, though. Oops. Oh, crap. All right, so meow mode is on, and there seems to be a normal indicator here, which is useful. And now we can run the meow tutor. Okay. So let's see. To move down, press J. Well, I'm already feeling pretty familiar with that. J, K, H, L, typical Emacs bindings. If you ever wonder what a keystroke means when reading this, just ask Emacs, Control H, K. Okay, cool. So that's basic cursor movement. All right, pressing the D key deletes the character under the cursor. So that's a little bit different than them, because you have to press D plus something else for it to delete, and then X is like the individual delete character. So I might get a little confused by that at first, but that's not so bad. Space D deletes something before the cursor. Apparently pressing U does undo, which is good. I'm guessing that's coming from here. So move the cursor to the line, moves the cursor to each character, press D to delete it. So they just give you some practice here by having you delete the duplicate characters. Yeah. Cool. Insert mode. Pressing the I key enters into insert mode. So if I go here and press I, this, let's see, press I, press escape to return back to normal mode, repeat until the line matches. So this is very similar to evil. Yeah, okay. I don't need to do the whole thing. If you want to move the cursor while in insert mode, you can use the arrow keys instead of exiting and re-entering insert mode. Yeah, well, sometimes I don't want to do that, but that's okay. I'm guessing I can use Control N-P. Oh, yeah, you can use just the usual vanilla key bindings for that too if you wanted. All right. Pressing I is not the only way to enter insert mode. A inserts after the selection. That's a little bit different. I goes at the above the current line. A is capital A is below the current line. MA is at the beginning of the line. XA, okay. Okay. Commands are composable. M will select the beginning of the current line up until the end of the non-empty line above. A switches to insert mode at the end of the current selection. Okay. That's one way to do it, I suppose. X selects the whole line. Okay. Now it's interesting what we just saw there. When you press X, there's this little ruler that shows up. X2? Oh, wow. That's kind of nice. So X7. All right. I like that. What about A? A doesn't do anything. M? Okay, M doesn't show anything either. All right, move to anywhere in the line below marked arrow. Yep, press XA. And your cursor will move to the end of the line, and you'll be able to type. Type the necessary text. Press MA for the cursor to move to the beginning of the line. So place the cursor before the arrow. For now, just return to normal mode and move the cursor past it. So this Ooh. I need to press D there, not X. I don't know why that turned off. Oh, I forgot to turn it back on. Azer says the way that meow differs from Vim is that it shows what you're selecting is selection-based modal mode. If Vim is like verb noun, meow is noun verb. That's interesting. Interesting. Okay. All right. So there's a recap here. HAKL to move, D to delete the character, I to insert, M, A. All right, motions and selections. Pressing E will select everything from the cursor position to the end of the current word. I saw a little pop-up there, which is kind of cool. So it's kind of a convenient way to jump to some certain part of the line. So like if I wanted to select from numbers all the way to way here, I could press E, O, and then it selects that whole thing. That's kind of nice. The Avi package is another package that allows you to do things like that, which I'm actually preparing a video on, but I need to experiment with this a little bit too to see if it's equally useful. You can unselect the region with a G key, so E9, and then press G to unselect, okay. Pressing S will delete the current selection. That sounds kind of weird. D key deletes the character below the cursor, while S deletes all of the selected text. So, move to the beginning of a word that needs to be deleted. Press E to select the word. So it just selects the word by default. What if I keep pressing E? It just keeps moving forward. That's interesting. Whoops. Now I'm starting to use evil key bindings. All right, so use E to select a word. Use S to delete the selection. ES. D. ES. ES, okay. That's all right. Pressing S without a selection will delete everything from cursor position to the end of the line. So if I press S, it deletes everything, okay. Pressing W will select the whole word under the cursor. W will select the whole symbol, okay. So this is a symbol with a hyphen. If I press capital W, it selects that. Otherwise, if I press W, it just selects the word. So the difference is that E selects to the end of the current word, but W, lowercase w, selects the whole word irrespective of the cursor position. Hey, Jernati. Jernati says, I always advise beginners to stick to Emacs default bindings where possible so that they can leverage some prior bash knowledge, unless they are coming from Vim, which is really rare. Yeah, I don't know how rare it is. Emmanuel says, I'm still not sold on this. Seems to me it has little to offer over evil. So far, it has little to offer, and it's different. It would take some relearning. But I'm not really writing it off just yet. I mean, maybe there's some interesting things it gets to. Let's see, E moves forward to the end of the current word. So motions are useful for extending the current selection and for quick movement around the text. After selecting the word, you can extend the selection with some common movements. So if I press E, 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 then it continues to go forward. That's nice. W, B, 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 all right. Cursor position can be reversed with semicolon to extend the selection in other directions. Okay. So what does that mean? W, E, semicolon, E. I don't know what that means. Oh, okay, I see. It gives you the numbers. That's kind of cool. O, 4. So it's, oh, wait, what? 5, 4. No, that's not what I thought. Okay, anyway. In case too much gets selected, you can undo the previous selection with the Z key, all right? So it says move the cursor to the line marked with the arrow, press W. Extend the selection with E. So let's go right here. W, nope. W, E. S to delete the selection. Try reversing the cursor and extending the selection. Wait a second. So I'll press W. Huh. Okay. E. 3, 1. Oh, I just press E here, right? 1, S. Okay. Interesting. Kind of weird, though. Try it with X. Type X, 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 and then type... Hold on a second. What is X again? Yeah. You can go in the opposite direction. Pressing X will select the whole line. Pressing it again will add the next line to the selection. Numbers can also be used to select multiple lines at once. Yeah, you can just keep jumping ahead, which is kind of nice. Move the cursor to the second line below marked. Press X to select the current line, S to delete it. Move to the fourth line, so I press... select two lines either by hitting X twice or X1 in combination. Delete the selection with S. Okay, cool. Extending selection by object. Oh, interesting. So you can use the square bracket commands. If you press square bracket, then you can... they have this little pop-up that comes down here. You can press P instead, so to select the whole paragraph. And then the same thing for the comma and period. Select the inner part of, select the whole part of. Right, so expand until the end. So if I'm at this location where my cursor is blinking, if I press the right square bracket. Hey, Kates. Let's see. Then I press P, then it goes to the end of the paragraph, but it doesn't select the whole thing. But then if I press period P, then it selects the entire paragraph. Okay. Some of the thing modifiers may include round parentheses, square parentheses, blah, blah, blah. Line defund buffer. I mean, defund could be pretty useful. Move the cursor to the paragraph below. Type .p to select the whole paragraph. Press G to cancel selection. Comma L to select one line. Cool. How to jump to the beginning of the buffer quickly. Type left bracket and B. Then you can come back by pressing Z. Okay. But it makes a selection immediately, which is kind of weird. Jump to the end of the current function quickly. So if I go here, .ca. No, didn't work, did it? .c. I think I have to be inside. .ca. There it is. Okay. Okay, I see. So I guess the mentality here is that you basically get a selection every time you make a motion, and then you can use another key like G or A or I even to, well, I guess A would be the one, to get out of it and put the cursor at the location where you've moved to. Not sure how I feel about that. T to select until the next specific character. So that's kind of nice. T, A. Okay. So it's kind of like the F binding in Vim. So type A, T, A. Then you can just probably, well, okay, so T, A, no. T, A, 2, all right. Okay. Motion can be repeated multiple times by using a number modifier. Can you keep pressing it, I wonder? So let's do that again. TA1. 1. Oh, okay. So even after the little pop-ups go away, you can keep pressing 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 to go to the next one. That's pretty nice, actually. I was wondering about that before. It could make things pretty fast, actually. The change command, pressing C will delete the current selection and switch to insert mode. If there's no selection, it will only delete the character under the cursor and switch to insert mode. So let's see. Select the incorrect word with E or maybe W. Press C to delete the word sentence. Okay. WC incorrect. Okay. WC in. That's pretty easy. But, I mean, obviously, if you're using Vim, you can do things like that pretty easily. Like, well, DWI is what I do often, which is probably not the most efficient way to do it in Vim. So DW, which is delete word, and then I to insert, and then go start typing. Kill and yank. S key also copies the deleted content, which can then be pasted with P. Move the cursor to the line below. Type X to select the line. S to cut the current selection. Type P to paste the copied content. Cool. So that's similar to what you can do with Vim. CW change word. Yeah, so there's a faster way to do it with one less character that you type, CW in Vim, to change the word. Pressing Y copies the selection, which then can be pasted. Okay, Y is kind of like in Evil or Vim. X to select one line forward, Y to copy, P to paste. Cool. And then U to undo. Yeah, here we go. Undoing. U triggers undo. The capital U key will only undo the changes in the selected region. That's cool. Peter says, I find myself using C more than D. I forget that C exists, to be honest. All right. Okay. Undo is fine. So far the tutorial here is very good. I think the tutorial kind of takes you through everything in a very clear, linear way and gives you good examples to try. So I do like it a lot. Batch keyboard macros. All right, select a region, press G to grab it. So if I press X and then G, that's kind of weird. Huh. Oh, it's multiple cursors. And all the edits you do on one cursor will be synced to the other cursors. Type capital G again to cancel grabbing. Interesting. So move the cursor to the first line below. Select the 6 lines. So, was it 5? Okay. G to grab the selection. And then edits you make will be synced to the other cursors. Use insert mode to correct the lines. Okay, I can see my cursors moving there. So, whoops. What is it? D? Huh. Okay, so that does work. Every time I press escape, it finishes, or sorry, it applies the same edit to all the other lines. So that's kind of nice. Azer says, I like Meow more than Evil because I'm a visual person and I like the selection showing me what I'm modifying before I modify it, if that makes sense. I agree with that. I feel like it's better if you can see where you're going to be selecting, like with the W, what is it? Or even E. What, I can't remember the bindings now, but being able to see where you might be selecting next, it's kind of cool. And you press Z to go back to the previous selection and cancel it even. So you can see what you're doing a little bit easier for sure. All right, so how to wrap all 3 of these strings. Okay. Move the cursor to the line below. Select the whole line, X. Press G to grab the selection. Press B to create fake cursors at the beginning of each word in the backwards direction. Interesting. That's pretty cool. Quite easy. So to do that again, I've grabbed this line, and I press B to go backwards on all the words. It selects all the words in the line, in the region, I suppose. Then you go into insert mode. You type out the changes that you want to make to the current line. Press escape, and then wow, it didn't replicate that one very well. Maybe because I did something weird. Let's try that again. Okay. B, insert, and then escape. So it works. Kind of cool. But you can't undo it as all one unit, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's fine. Not really a problem. Press G to cancel the grab. All right. All right, so they want to replace all those characters, the hyphens, with underscores. So move your cursor to the line below marked with that. Select the whole symbol with capital W. Press G to activate secondary selection. Minus F. And then minus? Why do you need to do the hyphen first? Press C to switch to insert mode. And then type underscore, then type escape. Okay, so you're combining the change command with the edit across the line. So that's pretty cool. Minas Mazer says, FYI, God mode improvements. So, okay. That is kind of nice, actually. Excuse me. Azer says, hyphen is for backwards direction. F is to find character. So I guess it's a modifier. Hyphen is a modifier. Quick visit and search. The visit command V can help select a symbol in your buffer with completion. Once you have something selected with the V key, you can use N to search for the next occurrence. So I press V. Oh. Okay. And then you press N to search again. All right. That's kind of cool. So on this line, press V, type the word dog, press enter, change it to cat with C, press escape, save it with Y, search for the next dog, replace it with R. Oh. Huh. Okay, so it can remember the last replace that you did and apply it again. You can also start searching after W or W. Actually, you can use N whenever you have any kind of selection. So if I say X for this line, and then V for cat, and it's, it doesn't really work, does it? Built on regular expressions, symbol boundary will be added to your search if the selection is created with V, W, or W. Oh, weird, okay. How far are we here? Oh, we're almost done. Gesundheit. Yes, I don't know how to pronounce that one either. Let's see. Keypad in motion mode. One of the most notable features is the keypad. It enables use of modifier keybinds without pressing modifiers. Press space in normal mode or motion mode. Once keypad is started, your single key input, it will be translated based on the following rules. The first letter input, except X, C, H, G, will be translated to Control C. Okay. Press space A. That didn't work. Undefined by default. Okay, so maybe it inserts it then. M will be translated to meta. So if I press meta X, no, didn't do that. in normal mode or motion mode. What mode am I currently in? M, no. No. Oh, I forgot to press the space first. Space. When you press space, it gives you a little pop-up here. There's the cheat sheet. So that's kind of cool to see the cheat sheet. The way that I got there was I pressed space question mark, and it brought this whole cheat sheet up. And it tells you all the keys that, like, word movement, E is word forward, HJKL. Okay, so it's got like capital versions of every row, effectively. Okay, that's cool. So then space X, F. Okay, space X, F gives you Control X, Control F. Space MX gives you Meta X. I don't know, I would just press Meta X for that because it's faster. What else? Several keys are bound to prefixes similarly. So space H, F. Okay. No, that's not right. Space H. Describe function. Where's describe function in this list? No, this is a different help menu. Space C. Okay. Keypad describe key. Okay. Space X. Space G. All right. So G is equivalent to control meta. So space GX would be like eval defun. Space H space F. Ah, okay. Space H. And then space F. So is that for like control again? That must be right. Space H space F. Okay. That must be it. Any key following a prefix is interpreted as a C key. All right, fine. XF is control, space XF, yeah, all right. And then meta GG, space MG, space G, okay. That's way too many key presses though. I mean, meta GG is faster, in my opinion, than that whole sequence. So it gives you a way to get these quick key bindings like XF for find file, sort of like you can do with God mode, but you're not like staying in God mode the whole time, or at least until you turn it off. So that could be more convenient in some cases, I think. Let's see. All right. So all these key bindings are shown on the cheat sheet, which can be obtained by pressing Control C question mark. Okay, that's another way to get there. That's cool. So space question mark. That makes sense, actually. What else do we see on space? Digit argument, describe key, cheat sheet. What is J and K? Oh, they're basically saying they're not bound to anything. That looks like which key. It must be which key. Let's see what we have here. Q is go to line. Well, enter a number. Oh, okay. You're literally entering a specific number for the line. That's fine. X is also go to line. X. No. Change visit. Backwards word, backwards symbol. M is join. So if you press, let's say you press M and then you press D, no. M and capital D, no. M and S, okay, there you go. MS will will basically join the two lines together. Peter says, I like the attempt to get away from modifier keys, control and meta, that is. Yeah, I mean, it can be nice. MJ says these are single keystrokes. Yeah, you don't hold control down at the same time. So I press space X F. I'm not holding space down. I just press space X F, and that gets treated as control X, control F. Space MX will give you meta X. S deletes the selection. C changes the selection. Yeah. So if I press M, C, then I can start typing, which is kind of nice. All right. Anything else interesting? We have the Get Started page, which told us how to get started. Okay. Explanation, customizations. Selection is a region with the direction, the type, and an expandable flag. Okay. Let's see. Selection, which is from 0.7 to 12 with a forward direction with a type word, and it's expandable. So yeah, that's kind of a good way to model it. You sort of understand what type of selection you're currently in and how to modify it. So, okay, let's do this. So there was the minus XXX. All right, so yeah, effectively pressing X a bunch of times just selects lines, right? If you press minus and press, okay, yeah, that doesn't work. Let me press minus and then X a bunch of times. So minus or hyphen will switch the direction of whatever it is that you are pressing. So minus WWW, okay, so that doesn't expand. Minus E. That's funny that that doesn't expand the other way. Must be because it has an inherent direction. Let's go back to the cheat sheet. Okay. So E is word. W is whole word. So minus W, yeah, W doesn't seem to do much. It just selects, right? Semicolon and yeah, let's see. Well, it definitely moves it. You can't press it repeatedly though, which is kind of interesting. Select the previous, current, and next words. Mark word, backward, and next word. Back and next will expand, causing mark word. Mark word creates an expandable word selection. And what is mark word bound to? W. Mark word, backward, and next word. So what were the keys for backward and next word? Well, let's see. W. W-E. Ah. Okay. B-E. So if I press W, okay, I'll have to understand that by reading it a little bit more, but there definitely seems to be a mindset behind this, which is kind of useful. Define key bindings in a state. Okay, normal state, bind to a command, meow, append. H to help map. Okay, that's fine if you want to customize things. D was backward. Was D not delete? Yeah, D is deleting. Okay, that was weird. In the leader key map. Setup indicator. Indicator at the beginning of the mode line if you want to customize the mode line by hand. Let's try that. Meow setup indicator. Okay, so it did insert something there, which doesn't really work very well with, what do you call it? Doom mode line, but maybe there's an integration with Doom mode line for meow. Try pressing W to select the word, then E to select the next word, and then B to select the word behind. Let's go right here. W, E, B. It's pretty weird. Then C to delete it, insert. So if I press W, B, oh, okay. So that's how you go backwards. Let's see, what is B then? B is backward word. All right, there we are. So W selects a word, and then B is back, E is forward. But you can expand the selection just like that. So W, E, 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 B, 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 E, 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 E. Yeah, so you're effectively expanding on both sides, however you like. What if I press X? Didn't work. X. I think that X is one of the ones that you have to press minus X, X, X to change the direction. You can make new states. That's kind of cool, though. If you can define like a parenthesis state and then have keys for moving, like using smart parens to move around parentheses, you might not need something like Lispy. Might be something worth trying for Lisp modes. So I have to say the documentation is pretty good on this. So will be a lot easier to figure out how to extend it if you want to. Explanation. What else? Frequently asked questions. Let's just see what they have to say about that. And then I'll move on to something else after we take a little quick look at this. Oh. Extend selection number hints are disabled in org mode by default because they work poorly with variable width fonts. That kind of makes sense. But why can't you... if it's using overlays, couldn't you use a different face for the overlay text? Maybe you can't. Okay. So that's meow. I think meow is pretty good. Now can I turn it back off? Meow mode, global mode, disabled, evil mode. Let's turn evil mode back on so that I know what I'm doing. And also, did I put the right config in? Okay. So meow tutor, okay. All right. So how do I pronounce that again? Xa, fly keys. Okay. Let's just take a quick look at this one. Modal key binding for Emacs based on command frequency and ergonomics. This is the most efficient editing system in the universe. Well, let's see. A lot of updates. Seems that Xa is still updating it every now and then. Some videos on his channel. Let's go to the actual repo. I was on the repo, wasn't I? Okay. So Vim, well, sort of Vim-like movement keys, it seems. But pretty different. I don't know if it's something that I would be able to like quickly. Gun says next comes Bark. Yeah, somebody should create Bark. Okay. I also had pulled up Hydra. Hydra is not a modal editing system, but it is something you could use if you wanted to create your own transient key map that could allow you to move around a buffer really quickly. If you don't know about Hydra, it is another package by Abo. I don't exactly know how to pronounce his name correctly, but this one's used quite frequently in the Emacs community. 1.7 thousand or 1.7 thousand stars. And you can set up key bindings that do have a lot of shortening compared to what you would normally do in Emacs, but it will require a lot of work on your part because it's not set up automatically for doing modal editing. So it's great if you want to set up your own little quick pop-ups. Do I have an example of one? I've used Hydra a bit in my own configuration. So here's an example of like buffer management Hydra, where it gives you a little pop-up with all the little key bindings there. And some of these key bindings will close the pop-up. Others will keep the pop-up open so you can keep pressing keys. It allows you to repeat actions while this thing is still open. So it can be useful, but definitely you have to do a lot of work yourself if you want to set up something that will allow you to do effectively modal editing with this package. I imagine that people have created a lot of different hiders that you could find out there if you're interested to look into that more, but it's a good package to have in your back pocket in case you want to have a nice little quick key binding setup. But in a lot of cases, I would say that maybe it makes more sense just to use a normal key map in Emacs. Like you have like a mode, or you have a key map that you set up for some set of tasks that you want to do, and then bind it to whatever keys you want. The only thing you can't do with that is repeat keys, but there is something in Emacs for that. I don't know if Case is still here. I know Case was playing with that, but there was some newer feature in Emacs. Maybe it was Emacs 28. Emacs 28 repeat keys. There's something. Okay, here's Karthik's blog. Yeah. So here's another way to repeatedly press the same key in a key binding sequence. It's repeat mode. Let's see. Let me drop this in. Let's see. Is there anything we can try out really fast? Play by play. Repeat mode comes with a built-in support for a bunch of key maps. There's no learning curve, it says. After the first invocation of other windows. So that's a good example. So if I were to split these windows and I turn on repeat mode and then press Control X O, and I keep pressing O, and then it keeps cycling through the windows. Previously, you'd have to press Control X O, Control X O, Control X O to do that, but now you can just keep pressing O. And here in the echo area, it actually tells you that you can repeat that with O and capital O. So that could be kind of useful. Press Control G to quit out of that transient key map. There must be editing commands that you can do like that. Okay, so let's see. With any of these packages, you could develop the above idea into a complete modal editing environment like God mode, but with custom modes for special editing tasks. Why delete words with meta D or mdel 5 times when you can just do md-ddd? Let's try that, actually. Let's go back to, well, I don't want to delete what's in there. Let's go to the meow tutor again, just so that I can delete some stuff in here. So, meta D. All right, so that's not working. Repeat mode. Disabled. Enabled. Describe repeat maps. So describe repeat maps. Let's see what maps it has. Mississippi in repeat mode. Yeah. Let's not repeat that one. Let's see. Next buffer. So buffer switching. So Control X B. Buffer navigation repeat map. And where does that start? All right, let's see. Dired jump map. Where does that go? No. Dired jump. I don't know what that's for. Next, error repeat. Let's see. Outline editing, so you can move things around, which is kind of nice. Resize window repeat map. That's cool. Enlarge window. So if let's see, what's the key binding for enlarge window? Control X caret. So Control X caret, and then I keep pressing it. Then it can expand it more. Or what about, is it V? Yeah, V. So you can go up and down with the size of a window. And I think even curly brace left and right will do some of that too. So this is not really editing, but it is potentially useful for some other things you might want to do in Emacs. Is there anything editing related here? No. So apparently the initial setup for repeat only works for some non-editing functionality. You may have to set more bindings yourself. Karthik says, repeat maps appear to be best suited for families of related commands that are usually invoked in succession and are cumbersome to invoke. I agree with that. Repeat mode versus Hydra, Transient, and Hercules. Okay, this is a pretty good blog post if you want to sort of see some analysis of the different approaches here. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that there's also a built-in mode for modal editing in Emacs called Viper. I don't know if you've ever heard of Viper before, but Emacs Viper. So Viper is a Vim emulation mode that's built into Emacs, has been there for a long time, and it's not really that good. I mean, it does stuff, but it's not as nearly as polished as Evil mode. So it is in Emacs by default, and if you want to try it, it's there. It has editing states. This seems very unusual for enabling a mode. But it does allow you to do that. Let's see. What can we see about how to use this? Okay, you can just turn on Viper mode. So there's Emacs state, Vi state. After you have loaded Viper, Control Z will normally take you to VI command state. Another CZ will take you back to Emacs state. Let's turn off Evil mode. I'm curious about this Viper mode. Ooh, big scary startup message. Let's see. Several levels. I don't want to read all this. Inhibit the startup message. Yes. Okay, so it's asking me what I want my level to be. Almost all Emacs features are suppressed. That's not cool. Control C now has a standard Emacs meaning in Vi command state. Most Emacs commands are available also in Viper's insert state. User settings are respected for no multiple escape, like 4, but user settings are also respected for Viper always, blah, 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 blah. Let's go with number 2. Let's just see how that goes. The yes to make it permanent. So, now that we have Viper mode turned on, Evil mode, whoa, hold on. Okay, so Viper is working. It's doing some weird stuff here. I don't know exactly what keys I'm pressing. And there's a V here. Is that for Viper? Interesting. So Control Z puts you in Emacs state, which is just the normal Emacs key bindings, right? And then Control Z will put you then back into Viper state, which is more like Vim movement. But I press V and it goes to find file, which is kind of weird. I don't know what V is supposed to be. Control H. I can't get to Control HK. If I run describe key, then, oh, what? What is happening? It's not a valid command name. I can't even type normally. So Viper has taken over my mini buffer and does not type correctly anymore. So that's fun. So yeah, this is very weird. It would be very hard to get used to this. Jeff says VIP mode came first. Viper is an improvement on that. Yeah, that's what I remember too. Whenever I used Emacs back in about 2006, 2007, I remember that I tried VIP and it was not good. And then I tried Viper and it seemed better, but that was at the time whenever there wasn't better options. And then later I tried Evil mode, and it was way, way better. So that's my experience with that. So anyway, was there anything else? Avi, yeah, we'll talk about Avi in another video, I think, because I do want to talk about that. I think it's a pretty interesting package, and it might be a good way to bridge the gap between, like, using something like God mode with Avi could be pretty interesting. So we'll take a look at that sometime soon. Let me turn off this Viper mode, though, because Viper mode, toggle Viper mode, turn it off. Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna bother putting a config in for Viper because I don't really recommend you try it. So before we leave today, I want to reiterate, if you have any thoughts on the idea of moving to Matrix from Discord and like what channels we should have for discussion of various topics that people were discussing previously on Discord, please let me know. The migration to Matrix is going to happen over time. It's not going to be immediate. We'll start, gradually setting things up, and then I'll tell people to move over, and probably in a couple months we'll shut the Discord down, but we'll do that on a relatively smooth pace. But if you want to go ahead and check out the Matrix System Crafters chat, at least the one channel that currently exists, go check out systemcrafters.chat. That's without HTTPS, so you have to be careful about how you type that into your browser because of the way we have the page set up. But go there. It will tell you how to go to System Crafters chat in Matrix via IRC, and just come hang out, check it out. If you want to go via IRC also, you don't have to use Matrix. You can just go straight to IRC, which is kind of cool. Data Monoid says, Essentials, Emacs, General, Lounge, Off-Topic, Geeks. Yeah, I was saying before that we may not have special Emacs and Geeks channels unless people really want it, because there already exist Emacs and Geeks channels on IRC and Matrix via the bridge. So I don't necessarily want to have a separate place to talk about those things unless it really makes sense to do so. But we may still do it. We'll see. All right, I think that's it for today. So thank you all very much for being here and for going through this journey with me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Also, if there's any other things I missed out on today with with Boon or with God mode or with Meow, certainly let me know in the comments, and we might be able to take a look at it on a future stream. I'll definitely consider making videos on God mode and Meow because they both seem to have benefits in certain ways. So definitely curious to continue experimenting with those. But anyway, thank you all very much for being here. I hope you all have a great weekend. Until next time, happy hacking. We'll see you.